So firstly, we're going to be looking at the market events for coming week, which will be starting from 14th of September, which is Monday. So let's see what's happening on Monday. Really, usually as always, Monday doesn't have any major news events that could really affect the market. We do have a Eurogroup meetings, but it won't be as volatile as it was last Thursday. So quite not a very major impact news, but a decent news. Let's see what happens. Again, it's a meeting, so there's no like a data that will be published, so we can't really predict what will happen. We have to see how the meeting goes and what kind of news that comes out from the meeting. So we have a meeting minutes coming out for AUD again. Is all tentative, so we really don't know what the date. It's not database, so we have to see what's the meeting about and what's the what the meeting minutes. We do have average earning index for GP on Tuesday. They're expecting a drop of 1% from minus 1.3% to minus 1.3%. Well, that's expected because you clearly know that a lot of companies have cut, wages for a lot of employees that they are still working, that they're still hired. They are cutting their wages to, really run the company. So we are going to see a drop in the average earnings plus bonuses are definitely dropped this year. So that's going to be definitely going to be a more like a negative news for GP, and we could see GP fall a bit more compared to that news. We have claimant count. So claimant count is basically the amount of people claiming jobless allowance. So it was 94.4K last time the news came. There's no prediction, but we're expecting a higher number than this. We are thinking that we're predicting that more people are jobless compared to last month or last time it came out. So let's see how the really news comes out, and they will have a good outlook. So we have core retail sales on Wednesday. Again, core retail is quite important because it does measure how the economy is really performing for US. So again, the last time was 1.9%. This time they experienced a drop of 1%. That's a very big drop. That will actually matter quite big in terms of how the economy is working. So could expect a big drop, but again, if that drops, we could see dollar really plummeting. So going to be keeping a close eye at this core retail sales for USD. And I think we do have one more major news. Again, initial jobless claim. That's the major news for the week. Again, you guys would already know that how big of a news that for initial jobless claims are. Last week it did rise by about I think around 200k more than they're expecting. So if this again, if jobless claims rises again, that will definitely send a dollar plummeting downwards. We also have an interest decision on Thursday at 12 p.m. GMT. Interest decision. Again, interest rate won't be changed. It will still be 0.10%. But the important thing we're looking at is BOE MPC meeting minutes, because that's what is going to really tell us about what they're expecting in coming days. As you clearly know that with all the Brexit issue and with all the lockdown issue that's happening in UK, London right now is affecting greatly how the economy of UK. So this will be really important. What does Bank of England really decide to do? Are they going to keep the rate same, or are they going to hike the rates? Or drop the rates more? So going to be quite important one. Will be probably the most of the world how into the decision for this month. Euro wasn't that volatile, plus Canadian decision wasn't volatile, but this will definitely be volatile. Looking at GP is quite low, so we can see how the really market moves on Thursday. So it will be really really volatile day on Thursday for GP. So let's quickly look at major forex outlook. So major forex pairs we already know, which is USD and GPUSD. So let's quickly look at USD. So USD on a daily basis hasn't last week. This is the candle of last week, so 11th of September candle. So you can clearly see that overall last week it did try to break above this trend line. So you can clearly see this uptrend line, which was created. We can pull a bit more back down. So which was created on since 20th of July. USD was high above this trend line, then it dropped on 3rd of September. Then since then it has been trying to go up, but it hasn't been able to. It did manage to go up on 10th of September, which was Thursday. Again, it was a Euro news that day. Euro interest news, if you remember. So there was a massive spike, but then it came down quite strongly as well. So overall, currently Euro is still a sell. You can clearly see that, but our MACD is going upwards. We can clearly see MACD is taking a turn. So might be we might see more bullish momentum coming back in the market for Euro. If you go to a short time frame, be easier. On a short time frame, we clearly see euro just linking around at the support level. It's 4 hour support level. Hasn't been able to break below it. It did break 2 days ago, which was I think Thursday, but then it rose back up quite strongly. So as long as the price above this on a short time frame, we're looking to buy euro. We could see euro again retesting back to this daily uptrend line, which is 1.8935, and probably breaking it all the way back to 1.1947. Let's see how really market moves on Monday, because US have quite a big news coming out over the weekend because of all the election that's going on. Election rallies and election is happening on November the 3rd, so that's going to affect the DXY, which is dollar index. So let's quickly look at dollar index. So dollar index currently, you can clearly see, is in a bearish trend. Overall is dropping from what we can see right now. It's testing, probably will come and retest the support level. Yesterday it did rise back up, after retesting this 50 MA, but we could see it dropping back to retest this 50 MA again. And if that happens, we could see EURUSD really rising all the way back to the highs of 1.1948. So keeping a close eye on how EURUSD really plays out. It's gonna get volatile. Hasn't been really volatile in the past few days. We can see from a longer time frame, the candle, the candles are not really that clear trend, because we can see that how a high trend this was just a week before it. You can see the trend on just a week before it. The week started when the 1st of September started, when this month started. We could see how crazy USD was compared to this week. So really hoping USD to pick up some steam, and it might just pick up next week after this election news that's going to come out from US. So overall, we are still expecting USD to be a bullish trend. We're still expecting euro to rise, could rise all the way back to 1.19, but the first stop we could see euro rising all the way back to 1.846, which is about 50 pip rise. Plus it just retested this 50 MA support level, so you can clearly see hasn't been able to break this level. Last time was broken on 10th of September, then it quickly ran up again. So we can clearly see that buyers are quite strong at this level of 1.1834, and overall we could see euro really rising from here. So we could see some decent, plus it's giving us some decent risk to reward as well. So as long as this risk to reward is there, we could really enter the market as a buy. As I said, the first target should be around 1.1865. Once the euro is there, then we might look to buy again somewhere around this level and put the second target around 1.1945. So really looking to see how euro really plays out in a coming days. Really hoping the euro to really pick up steam, because euro could rise all the way back to highs of 1.1909, which is about 150 pip rise. So that is possible in euro currently. Let's quickly look at GPSD. GPSD really really anticlimactic yesterday. We were expecting the GPSD to really drop quite strongly, but it lost. Yesterday was really slow, hardly any momentum. Well, that's to be expected, because currently GPSD is testing a very strong support level. Last time price was here on 24th of July, so you can expect that this is not a level that GPSD has been for quite a long time now. So that's why it's of course it's going to rest on this level. But again, as I said, the Thursday news is quite important for interest decision. If the interest rate is bad and the meeting minutes come bad, we could see GP dropping back around 200 pips, which is about 1.2578. So we could see GPSD actually dropping 200 pips, and that could just happen in a day, guys. GP moves furiously. Just a week before, on 10th of September, which was Thursday, it moved around how many pips did it move? It moved from it moved from 1.3013 all the way back to 1.27. That's about that's about 250 plus pips drop. It just happened in one day. So GP could really drop back to levels of 1.25, but again, once the price reaches here, but for us to really enter this market, we have to see a break below this level. So we want to see a break below the support level, which is 1.2776. Once the break happens, that will give us a good risk to reward short position, so we can put a sell and probably take our TP somewhere around here. So keeping a close eye how GPSD really plays out the support level, guys, because if this support level breaks, we are seeing a quite strong free fall, guys. Very strong free fall all the way back to lows of 1.2568. So keep a close eye on GPSD. Probably one of the major pairs to trade next week. One of the important pairs to keep an eye for. So add to your watch list if you don't already have it, and keep an eye on GPSD, guys, because we could see a very crazy momentum in GPSD after a crazy move downwards. Again, that doesn't mean that if this level holds, The crazy thing is, if this level holds, we could see GPSD actually rising back 300 pips. So it could just, go draw a V shape and go upwards. So that's why it's going to be really, really good volatile trade to get in. Very lot of pips to catch on GPSD, either way, up or down. But most likely it will break, because as the economy is looking, as the news are coming from UK, this might be more downwards momentum to come in GPSD before finally we could see some upward momentum. Once it reaches 1.25, this is of course a very strong support level. So around this level here, we'll be looking for buys. But overall, right now we are still bearish, and we're still expecting GP to drop more against dollar in coming days. Last thing we're looking at quickly is gold. So again, gold, just overall, I just drew this box for you. So you can clearly see overall there's not really a trend. It's basically in a ranging mode right now. A ranging market is basically when a market, moves up strongly, it has a stop, is like a stop, is like a break in the market. Ranging basically takes a break. So after strong momentum upwards, you can clearly see after strong momentum there was a break, then it went up. So usually what happens after strong downward momentum, price takes a break, then it continues its trend. So most likely, if overall market, it will if market follows the theory, it should drop. So on a theory basis, gold should drop after a downtrend break and a drop again. Probably could go up, but for it to really be valid uptrend, it needs to break above well enough above 1970. So it needs to go rise about 30 points or so before we can really enter gold as a long-term buy, or before we can expect gold to go rise above levels of 2066. So quite closely watching right now how gold really reacts. The Wednesday Thursday unemployment news that's going to come out from US is going to be really important news to watch out for. So if you guys want to do, you can write that down, what news is going to affect what. So Thursday's news, unemployment news, will affect gold. Definitely will affect gold, because if the unemployment is still rising in US, then we could see gold actually rising quite strongly upwards. So we'll be watching closely that news on Thursday. We can still, on short-term basis, let's go to a 15-minute time frame quickly. On a short-term basis, which is this box here I've drawn. This is a short-term box here. Again, you can clearly see it's a ranging mode right now. So both in long-term and short-term, gold is ranging. That could mean one thing, that there's a big move coming in the market. There's going to be a big, massive, spike of gold upwards or downwards. We don't know yet, but there's a big move coming in the market. It just, buyers and sellers are just waiting for that move to really cash in. So once the gold breaks below this level, we could see gold dropping back to levels of 1916 or even 1900s on a short-term basis. But if it breaks above this level or above this box, we could see gold rising 1965 or even as high as 2000. So keeping a close eye how gold really moves, guys. Again, both pairs, GPSD and gold, they could be one of the highlights of next week for trading. So keep an eye for these two pairs, guys. So they could move really crazy in coming days. One more pair I'm going to really discuss is GPJPY, because this goes hand in hand with GPSD. You might have known that GPJPY and GPSD go hand in hand. So when GPJPY is dropping, GPSD is dropping. When GPSD is dropping, GPJPY is dropping. So you can clearly see GPSD has drawn quite strongly, as I showed you earlier, but you can clearly see as well GPJPY is dropping currently on a 4-hour basis. It's testing a quite strong downtrend. If I use my Fibonacci here as well, draw my Fibonacci, you can clearly see it's below 61.8 level as well. So that indicates there is officially a very strong downtrend, and we could see it dropping more back to lows of 1.3219. But right now we can clearly see when the market closed, there was a kind of a pullback happening. So we really want to see how market really plays out when the Monday market opens, or sorry, Sunday night when the market opens. Do we see a retest at this level again? And once the retest happen here, and probably like retest or a spike downwards or something like this, strong spike downwards, these two candles are strong indication that quite a strong selling pressure at this level. So once we see a retest, it would be a good point, it would be a good entry for us to really enter GPJPY as a sell. So quite looking at GPSD, GPJPY and gold to be really the highlight trade of the next week. So GPJPY overall could drop again back to about how many pips would that be? About 300 pips. Crazy. It could drop actually 350 plus pips and coming just by end of next week. So let's see how JPY plays out. But overall, Fibonacci analysis, we can clearly see that GPJPY still looks like a very strong downtrend after breaking below the 61.8 level. All right, so guys, a lot of people have a question that they don't know what limit orders are, limit or stop orders. So I'm just going to explain you what are limited stop orders? Let me just get rid of these lines. So basically, there's three types of order in trading. So you can trade it in three types. So one is market execution. Basically, you enter the market as soon as you put the trade in. So you enter the market at the price of 1.35. That would be a market execution. A limit order is basically, let's draw a support level. So let's say you draw a support level here, okay? Okay, I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use this as a support level because that's a more better support level. So a limit order is basically you enter the market here. So what you do, you go in your trading MT4, you put let's say you put a price that you want your trade to enter when the price is at 1.34. So when the price reaches here, you're expecting price to rise. So you put a buy limit order at 1.34. Again, if you don't understand, you can always ask me questions once I'm finished explaining for you guys to understand a bit more better. So again, that's what a limit order basically means. A limit order basically means that you expecting a buy limit order basically means you're expecting price to drop all the way back to 1.34, and then you putting a buy limit order that you expect price to rise from here. That's a buy limit order. Let's say what a stop limit order is. Oh, sorry, sell limit order. Sell limit order is basically the same thing in reverse. So you put your sell trade here. So you expect, so you enter the trade at price of 1.3819. So you go to MT4, you choose sell limit order. It will ask you enter a price. So you enter your price, let's say for example 1.38, and you expect that when the price reaches at this level, so when the price reaches at this level, you're expecting price to start dropping from here. So that's why you're putting a sell limit order. And buy limit order is basically expecting when the price reaches here, you're expecting price to rise from here. That's a buy limit and sell limit order. And now let's talk about what a stop orders are. So let's say a buy order is basically, let's say you do not know if the price really is gonna start rising once it reaches here. So what you do is you do not enter the trade here. What you do is you wait for a price to start rising. So let's say you enter the trade somewhere here in the middle. Okay, so once the price reaches here, you saw that price is rising. Now you put a stop order here. So you put a stop buy order. Stop buy order, basically you enter the market with the trend. So you enter the market when the price is rising. You do not wait for price to rise. So you do not enter the level where the price is rising from. You enter just in the middle of the trend. So for example, a stop limit order buy order would have been somewhere here. So the price rising from here. So you saw uptrend is forming. You put your stop order. Now your trade will enter when the price is rising. So once the price rises above this level, your trade will be entered, and that's it. You could have gone some beautiful pips. And a sell order is basically, now you know that once the price reached here, it's dropping. So you put your sell order here, sell stop order, and as soon as the price reached here, it started falling again. So that's what a stop order and limit orders basically really means. It's not really complicated. You just have to put some of it on your demo accounts if you have a demo, and you just have to practice with it. And it basically means that you can enter the trade when you're looking at the chart. So you just just draw your support resistance lines or whatever analysis you use, and you just put your orders then, because sometimes people don't have time to enter the market straight away. So they use these kind of stop orders and limit orders to enter the market, because they really don't know when the price will start rising. So when you don't know when the price will rise, you put a stop order. But when you know that you're confident that when the price reaches at this level, it start rising, you put a limit order. That's what basically it really means. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Again, if you have any questions right now, you can ask me, or you can always ask later when you have any questions after this Zoom call. You can always message us, and we'll be more than happy to help you. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining, and hopefully you guys have a good weekend.